Recovery? What recovery? For millions of us, it never started, no matter what economists told us about GDP increasing by 0.7% between January and March. Now we've had 2 months of negative growth, but wages, confidence, and security have been falling for far longer. If Rachel Reeves really wants to put money in people's pockets, she'll need to do much more than simply recite inadequate fiscal rules. She'll need to start an economic reset from the bottom up. I'm Mike Sivyer of Vox Political. Buy me a coffee or donate more than £20 and I'll give you a free book. More on that later. Subscribe to the video mailing list, like and comment on this post, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. But watch this first to the end, and let's dive in straight away. Back in May, we were told the UK had turned a corner. GDP, that's gross domestic product, was up, with the fastest growth in the G7, and Chancellor Rachel Reeves was quick to claim credit. But now that the dust is settled, and we've seen 2 straight months of contraction, it turns out that the corner we turned may have led straight into a cul-de-sac. That world-beating growth in Q1 was driven by one-off surges. Exporters raced to beat new US tariffs. Businesses front-loaded investment to avoid tax hikes. Homebuyers rushed purchases ahead of stamp duty and mortgage changes. None of that was sustainable. And now the economy is slumping back to reality. Even when GDP was rising, most people didn't feel any better off. Real wages are stagnant or falling once inflation and housing costs are factored in. Food and energy bills remain high, and this has become the new normal. Rents continue to rise, while mortgage rates remain punishing. Employers in low-wage sectors are cutting hours or freezing hires thanks to squeezed margins. This isn't prosperity, it's subsistence. While the government insists it's laying the groundwork for growth, many businesses say they're still stuck in limbo. Manufacturing is down. Construction is down. Retail is very weak, according to the Office for National Statistics. Even companies doing well, like Hallmark, the export-led veterinary firm, admit the UK environment is tough with rising costs, geopolitical instability, and fragile demand. One manufacturer told the BBC, "We don't know which way we're going. 10% off a margin is quite a lot. We're holding fire." That's not a recovery. It's anxiety with a hard hat on. As Vox Political warned back in May, the Q1 surge was driven by artificial boosts. Exporters rushing to beat tariffs, consumers front-loading spending, and firms avoiding tax changes. Like I said back then, much of the rise was due to short-term activity that is unlikely to be repeated. Businesses rushing to export goods ahead of new US import tariffs, temporarily inflating output. Firms bringing forward investment to beat the April rise in employers' national insurance contributions. Consumer spending ticking up, but this reflecting people stretching themselves financially before expected mortgage or bill increases. While GDP, that's gross domestic product, the measure of a country's economic health, was up, real wages, living costs, and job security told a very different story. Inflation has slowed, but it hadn't stopped. Food and energy bills remain stubbornly high. Mortgage rates are set to rise again because hopes for more interest rate cuts will fade in the face of the stronger than expected growth. Banks like TSB have already confirmed hikes. The cost of borrowing remains high and rents continue to climb, eating into disposable incomes. Workers on lower incomes have seen pay increases swallowed by rising costs, particularly since April's minimum wage increase pushed some employers to cut hours or freeze hiring. Far from feeling the benefits of a growing economy, many families feel they're still stuck in the same economic rut. Even the government's own forecasters now admit it. The UK's public finances are in a vulnerable position. Why? Because Reeves and Rishi Sunak before her reversed spending cuts without raising enough revenue to pay for it. That means one of two things is coming. More austerity, which hurts growth, or higher taxes, which, if aimed wrongly, hurt households. Mel Stride, the Tory shadow chancellor, is already blaming Labour. But the truth is, both parties have helped create this bind by chasing growth headlines without addressing structural inequality. Putting money in people's pockets means doing more than talking. Rachel Reeves says her mission is to get more money into people's pockets, sure. So here's a challenge. Prove it. Right now, Reeves is boxed in by her own fiscal rules, rules that were designed to please markets, not people. To break free, the government could support low earners directly, boost in-work benefits and universal credit, reverse stealth cuts to benefits and support schemes, raise the tax threshold for lower earners rather than just raising the minimum wage and hoping for the best. Cut costs where they bite most. Introduce temporary rent caps or controls in overheated housing markets. Break supermarket and energy monopolies to rein in prices. Offer targeted mortgage support or refinance options through state-backed lenders. Stimulate the economy from the bottom up. Fund infrastructure in underserved regions, not just London and the South East. Offer national insurance rebates for firms hiring full-time, permanent workers. Restore and expand public investment in green jobs, care work, and digital industries. We can't keep pretending that GDP growth alone means progress. A true recovery doesn't just increase output. It lifts wages. It lowers costs. It builds confidence. If the government wants a growing economy that people can actually feel, it needs to invest in people, not just in numbers. Until then, the only thing growing is the gap between what we're told and what we're living. I've been Mike Sivyer, and it's time to buy me that coffee now. Donate more than £20 and I'll give you a free copy of my reissued first book, Strong Words in Hard Times. Subscribe to the video mailing list, like and comment on this video clip, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you do all that, you'll be helping keep this channel alive, and then you'll be able to see me, like it or not, in the next one.